and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, President Buhari pledges his administration's commitment to the safety of lives and property of Nigerians anywhere in the country. The army confirms killing of 2 soldiers in Rivers State 48 hours to Saturday's legislative rerun elections. The Senate agrees with House of Representatives on the takeover of Kogi State Assembly legislative functions, directs the Inspector General of Police to seal the State Assembly complex. And the US says Islamic State has committed genocide against the Yazidis, Christians and Shia Muslims.
And in business news tonight, federal government reaffirms extractive minerals for economic diversification.
And in sports news, ex-FIFA boss Sepp Blatter files an appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS.
I'm Linda Kibe, and from Abuja, Ekiti State lawmakers seek the intervention of a National Human Rights Commission in the alleged arrest of their colleagues by the DSS.
We begin with the president's reassurance that he'll relentlessly pursue Boko Haram until the group becomes history. President Muhammadu Buhari was speaking at the opening of this year's International Islamic Conference on Peace and Nation Building, holding in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The president used the opportunity to call on religious and political leaders to mobilize their followers against corruption and crimes of any kind, as well as encourage them to be tolerant of each other's rights to worship. Our State House correspondent Chukwu Maunekuse reports.
The conference aims at mobilizing participants across the globe for sensitization on the current challenges of insecurity and terrorism wrongly attributed to the religion of Islam. President Buhari would like to utilize the report on the outcome of the conference to do a lasting blow to Boko Haram.
As we have had cause to mention earlier, our government, in joint cooperation with our neighbors, has substantially degraded the attacking capacity of the insurgents to a level that has now compelled the insurgents to retreat. We will pursue them relentlessly until they become an item of history. I wish to use this forum to call on all religious, community and political leaders to mobilize their followers against corruption and crimes of any kind.
Senate President brought a message of goodwill to the conference, while the organizers aim at supporting the Nigerian government in its efforts to restore peace and stability and eliminate insurgency in all its ramifications.
As we play our own role under the leadership of Mr. President in bringing peace to this country, long-term peace will only be achieved through the right understanding of our great religion. And that is why your role as well at the end of this seminar will play a long role in peace and stability.
GBS wishes to call on the federal government and international community to mobilize and render support to victims of senseless insurgencies, especially in the Northeast.
We are totally committed to the success of this administration. We will do whatever it takes, inshallah, according to Islamic tenets and dictates, to support the government to do the right thing and bring the real democratic dividends to our people.
Secretary General World Muslim League, through an interpreter, enumerates the qualities of a good Muslim and the legacies he would want left behind for the good of all. The conference elicits reactions from many of the guests. To them, the takeaway from here is that the conference is timely and that all hands must be on deck to fight insurgency.
The religion of Islam is about the peace. So all other people that are doing any other act outside the peace for terrorism is not Islam.
Without peace and security, you cannot progress, you cannot develop, you cannot have any positive impact on your people. And this is the root cause of the problems we are facing today. And these are the challenges that we must work very hard to make sure we eliminate.
They call on all to retrace their steps, promote cooperation against the spread of insurgency, and of course pray for the success of the administration. Chukwu Maunekuse in Abuja for Channels Television News.
With less than 48 hours to the rerun elections in Rivers State, the security of the state has come under test as the Nigerian army says it's lost 2 of its men from an ambush by unknown men in Abonima, Akurukoto local government area of Rivers State. The victims, 1 officer and 1 soldier, were among the troops on patrol in Abonima before a fierce encounter ensued between them and the gunmen. The army authorities say they're in pursuit of the criminals and will surely catch them. The army has also advised all law-abiding citizens to go about their lawful activities while it continues to make necessary sacrifices to ensure that peace prevails. In the meantime, all sensitive materials for Saturday's rerun polls have been delivered at the state headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Port Harcourt. Sorting and distribution have been done at the different senatorial zones and constituencies in the 23 local government areas of the state. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ere reports.
After several hours of sorting out the sensitive materials to be used by INEC for this Saturday's rerun elections, under the watchful eyes of political party agents, it's now time for the materials to be moved to the 23 local government areas in the state. Earlier, I spoke with some party agents, and this is what they had to say.
We are yet to take inventory of the materials we have on ground. I think after the sorting out LJ by LJ, the INEC officials responsible for this will now inform us as party representatives what they have on ground. And we are here, based on our party instruction, to take the minutest detail of any materials we have on ground so that we'll have their records because of the apprehension for which we have come to do this exercise with.
As a senatorial agent of my party, I've come to inspect the materials and also monitor the distribution of the materials, and I think everything is going on quite smoothly and accordingly. We must commend the process that adopted by the REC here. It's very effective and there is no misunderstanding or disagreement about the process that is going on. I think all the parties are going along the way it should go.
The heavy presence of security personnel around the office of the electoral body suggests how important these elections are, not just to politicians but also to residents in Rivers State. The security agencies are giving assurances of a watertight security during the polls. Movement has been restricted between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on that day, and INEC says voting begins at 8 a.m. and will end at 2 p.m. The expectations of everyone is that all promises will be kept and the elections will be credible, free and fair. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
All right, let's go live now to Port Harcourt, the River State capital, where our correspondent Charles Aruka has been monitoring developments. Charles?
Well, thank you very much, Ijoma, and joining us live on the news at 10 tonight for preparations by the Independent National Electoral Commissions ahead of the rerun elections in Rivers State is the resident electoral commissioner for INEC in Rivers State, Elder Anyedi Ikoiwak. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ikoiwak.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Very good evening to you. Well, we understand that today you took delivery of the electoral materials. Is that correct?
Yeah, we took delivery of the electoral materials today from the Central Bank. And we have also gone ahead to dispatch the materials to the local government, except for a few local government that are still the INEC headquarters, and they will be dispatched tomorrow.
So the ones that were not dispatched today, what was the problem essentially?
Well, you see, we have said that in all the things that we do, we'll show our transparency in whatsoever we do. And when we cross-check the materials, we discovered that there were few that some of the materials may have been either packaged in another pack or not there. So we automatically suspend that to cross-check with those other ones that have been dispatched to be sure that they are not there. Because INEC had made provisions to have replacement sheets like the result sheet, they have what we call replacement result sheets. These replacement result sheets are meant to replace any missing or an altered result sheets. And it is authorized that the REC has to sign to endorse that result sheet for it to be authentic.
How many of those local governments have been affected?
As at this evening, we discovered that there is about 4 local governments have been noticed yet. And when you consider that we are talking about millions of papers, millions of materials, so in terms of percentage, it may not be up to 1%. That is when you try to quantify it in terms of percentage. But then they are essential, because even if one is not seen, it means that it can affect an election in that polling unit and so on. So that is why we have said for those local government, we need to cross-check it in other places and see. Because during packaging, you can have a situation where one is packaged in another pack and so on and so forth. So we need to cross-check. And you know, the way we produce the materials these days is not like where you bring bulks of the materials. Materials are customized and packaged at the spot of production. So when they arrive, they are not even supposed to be open at the state headquarters. Those meant because you just see the serial number, the number that is in the package and so on, then you now send. Assuming you have one material that was packaged in another one, you may not actually be able to detect that. Why we are able to detect this one is that these materials are materials that are meant to be used in 2 or more local governments.
The ones that have been dispatched, how secure are they, where they are?
Well, they are dispatched to the local government headquarters, and our men are there, the security. You can see in INEC today we had thousands of security men, and most of them are arranged to escort the material. Not only escort, but when they get there, they also protect the materials there for onward movement to the wards or to the racks tomorrow. This set of security men will also move along with these materials and protect them at the racks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ikoewa, for shedding light on INEC's preparations for the elections come Saturday, March the 19th.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've been talking with the resident electoral commissioner for Rivers State, and of course he has shed light on the preparations of INEC towards the elections. It's back to you, Ijoma.
All right, thanks a lot, Charles. They're live in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. And in part 2, after the break, Inspector General of Police calls for greater interagency collaboration in tackling insecurity in the Northeast. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.